You bought the journal. Leather cover, $40, blank pages, waiting. You downloaded the habit trackers, 5 of them over the years, maybe 6. And every time you told yourself the same quiet story, that tomorrow, a calmer, more disciplined version of you was finally going to show up and take over. Here's the uncomfortable truth. That person isn't coming, not because you lack discipline, but because you've been solving the wrong problem with every tool you've ever bought. Picture 2 people, same income, same city, same age. Watch the first one on a Tuesday night. She opens her banking app out of habit, sees a number she doesn't like, and closes it again before she's really read it. The unused journal sits on her nightstand, spine still uncracked. She's not reckless, she pays her bills. She just hasn't looked closely at any of it in months. So small leaks stay small leaks. A delivery order here, a subscription there, quietly compounding in the dark. Now watch the second person. Same night, same city. He sits down for 10 minutes before bed. No spreadsheet, no lecture, just a notebook and one honest question. Where did today drift from the plan? He writes it down, no excuse attached. Then he closes the notebook and goes to sleep. 10 minutes. That's the entire difference. Not more income, not more willpower, not a better app. Just the habit of looking, on purpose, at what's actually true. One of them will spend years wondering why nothing changes. The other already knows. We like to call this laziness. It isn't. Your brain is running a self-preservation program, quietly built to protect you from pain, not from bad outcomes. Given a choice between an uncomfortable truth and the comfortable illusion, it will pick the illusion almost every time. So when you avoid the banking app or push the money conversation to tomorrow again, you're not failing at discipline. You're avoiding a very specific, very small discomfort. The discomfort of seeing exactly where you stand, today, without a story attached to it. The number was never the hard part. The looking was. This brings us to the ritual at the center of this video. In the 1970s, as the story is told in Saito Yodo, the company was facing manufacturing problems that no motivational speech was going to fix. So they didn't motivate anyone. They built a ritual instead. It's called Hansei, a clinical, shame-free habit of reflection. Translated, it simply means self-reflection. Inside the company, there was a saying for it. No problem is a problem. Meaning, if you think everything is fine, you haven't looked closely enough yet. Applied to money, Hansei isn't another habit stacked on top of your budget. It's the ground the budget stands on. Without it, a savings plan is just a number you wrote down once and never checked again. Here's what it looks like in practice, and it takes about 10 minutes. Layer 1. Name the gap without the excuse. Not, I spent $42 on delivery because I was exhausted. Just, I spent $42 on delivery. The moment you attach a reason, your ego takes the wheel, and the reflection is over before it started. Layer 2. Look at the number without flinching. If today were a business, would these numbers get you fired? If the honest answer is yes, the exercise is working exactly as intended. Layer 3. Build a countermeasure, not a promise. In Japanese manufacturing, this is called bokayoke, mistake proofing, a physical change to the system, not a pep talk to yourself. If the $42 keeps happening, the fix isn't try harder next time, it's deleting the app or requiring a 24-hour wait between the craving and the checkout screen. You're not asking your future self for more willpower. You're redesigning the environment so the old mistake has nowhere left to happen. I want to be fair here because this is easy to misread as another productivity ritual. This isn't about becoming someone who journals every single night without fail or who never misses a day. Some nights you'll be too tired for all 3 layers, and that's fine. Even naming one honest gap with no excuse still counts. The point was never the streak. It was the habit of occasionally telling yourself the truth. To start this tonight, use 2 filters. The first is the naming filter. Before bed, write down one place today drifted from what you meant to do. One purchase, one avoidance, one small deviation. No explanation, just a fact. This alone breaks the habit of letting your ego quietly edit the story before you've even read it. The second is the countermeasure filter. Ask yourself, if this happens again tomorrow, what single environmental change makes it harder to repeat? Not a promise, a change. Deleting an app, moving a card out of your wallet, adding a waiting period. Do both most nights for 10 minutes. That's the whole ritual. It was never supposed to be more complicated than that. We spend most of our lives waiting for a more disciplined version of ourselves to arrive and finally take over. But that person was never coming. They were a fiction you kept buying journals for. What actually shows up instead is 10 quiet minutes and the habit of not lying to yourself about where you stand. That's not as dramatic as a transformation. It's just the thing that actually works. Wealth, most of the time, isn't built on one big correct decision. It's built on small, honest corrections, repeated until they're boring. You don't need to be flawless with your money. You just need to stop lying to yourself about it. And when you finally do, your world doesn't get smaller. Your freedom gets larger.